and we are stuck. And this has been happening. So,
So can I tell you how beautiful you look today, Jessica? You're,
aw.
I love the hair.
And we
Wow.
are live. So, yay! I love starting a show with how beautiful I am. Yay, me. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Karah. Hello, everybody out there. I am your host, Jessica Koch, and this is Profound Professionals. It is an interview series that has been coming to you for 9 years, and we stream live. So, sometimes the live technology is fun and plays with us nice, and sometimes it makes things just more fun and interesting. So we have been bringing you for the last 9 years over 1,000 industry experts globally from all over this beautiful planet, and they help improve your personal life or they can help you grow your business. Today, I have two beautiful ladies that have powerful ways that they support you on your journey. Lee Aldridge is the guide who helps purpose-driven women transform their scattered ideas into magnetic brand rooted in their truth and the truth of their story journey. It is just super powerful. So, welcome, Lee.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
I love the glowing faces that we have on this show today. We also have Dr. Karah, and she empowers and guides women to achieve their ultimate health goals, stabilizing their moods, boosting their energy, enhancing all parts of their wellness, and you know what I mean, and achieving their ideal best version of themselves, most beautiful form and shape and lean, mean, and healthy and strong. So they can achieve all that they were meant to achieve. So wonderful to have both of you ladies here. Welcome, Dr. Karah, too.
Thank you, Jessica. It's an honor to be here with you today.
I am super excited about this conversation because I know you two ladies don't know each other, but you're going to get along so well. And there's such a connection. The reason I do people who help improve someone's personal life as well as grow someone's business is when you can grow your business and have some success, then suddenly I believe you begin to take care of yourself better and you have this great love and confidence in yourself. And I think vice versa happens. It also could be that you suddenly start focusing on your health and yourself, and then all of the things in your business begin to fall into place and you're able to achieve more and do more. So I think whether it's the chicken or the egg, whether it's your personal life you start improving first or your business you start improving first, the other benefits from it, they really do go together. The success begins to round out, in that beautiful sphere of wholeness and feeling more complete and lovely. So I'm going to start with Lee. Can you share us a little bit about your journey and your story of how you've helped women really kind of get some direction in their business brand? How did that become your passion?
Well, I think, thank you, Jessica, so much. That was a beautiful introduction, and you just make the atmosphere so happy and easy. I appreciate that. I hid behind a camera for most of my career, my first career. I spent decades as a wedding and business photographer, but what I love most, it wasn't the camera work, it was the storytelling. And, for weddings, for example, every couple had their own brand, every wedding,
Mhm,
all weddings are the same. You have a ceremony and a party, right? What
mhm,
makes it different is the connection, is those relationships. And I saw right away that
mhm.
the 38 by 10s, with the bride on the 18th green in a karate pose, like, why is she there? There was no reason. There was no story about it. It was just beautiful, right? But there was no connection. And
Mhm,
so what I did was I built my reputation for capturing the essence of
mhm,
who they were and what they stood for, really. So
mhm,
after a major life shift, and I took time away from business, I took what had always come naturally, and that was storytelling and clarity. I mean, and
mhm.
connection. I trained as a brand strategist and copywriter and loved it. It's like I read light in a different way now.
Mhm.
And that's when I discovered Story Brand, which gave me the language, the framework of what I'd always done in a marketing sense.
I
So
love
that's
that.
that's how it kind of all came to be.
Yeah, I think story is one of the unique things. It's fascinating. I was doing some research and teaching a class on storytelling also. And I had gone through several books and several quotes and several white studies, some study programs and research. And one of the things I found is that the tech world, the skill set is very similar in these high level tech engineers and architects and people who are very, very savvy in tech. And one of the things that elevated them in their career was their ability to tell a story and to tap into that piece of them. And they are the ones that would go the farthest, get the highest pay raises, and really stand out when they were interviewing for some of the big names. We won't mention them, but some of the big names that would be hiring them on were looking for people that could inspire and tell a story and incorporate a story and create a feeling, even though they were super tech. So story is important in so many ways. One of the things I'm sure well, the first thing I think of when I think about what makes weddings different is, you know, their faith, their values, their belief, their heritage, and where they're incorporating all of that. And it's the same in a business. They have their values, their heritage. Maybe their family started
Right.
it, or they came over from the roots and they just brought grandma's recipe, or whatever the story is. It's there, whether it's conveyed well or shared, is often the question. So I think that's beautiful.
Thank
Um, and so, on Beautiful Journeys and empowering people, we're going to hear a little bit about why Dr. Karah. This intro does not do you justice because you're so much more than weight loss. It really is. It's so much more than health
Yeah.
goals. It's so much more. Tell us a little bit of your journey and your backstory that led you to want to help women take these steps for themselves and honor themselves in this way.
Mm. Well, let's see. Where did it start? It started when I was 16 years old, but didn't know that at the time until I really started reflecting and diving back.
Mhm.
So I was, 33, 34 years old. I was recently married and we were trying to have children and we were doing it very unsuccessfully.
Mhm.
And I was in the middle of medical school, so I blamed it on stress. I blamed it on this. And as I slowly started getting a little bit older, I realized that I had never ever been hormonally balanced.
Mm.
I could peg it back from being 16 to wretched cramps, things like that,
Mhm.
to mood instabilities. I was angry, depressed,
Mhm.
anxious throughout my 20s, and it was normalized. All of that, oh, you're just in your 20s. Or like
Mhm.
the conventional medical system would be like, we have a pill for that.
Mm.
Like,
Mm.
I none the wiser. I was in relationship marketing. I wasn't in the healthcare space. I was like, sure, sure, sure. And next thing you know, they're mailing them to my house. I'm on 5. And I just looked at it and I said, this is not who I want to be.
Mm.
And so I initially went to medical school to help myself.
Mm.
I never saw myself seeing patients. I saw myself helping me and my family and those people that I loved and cared for. And when I got into my residency, I realized I was like, my patients are my family.
Mhm.
And I'm helping these people have the most incredible lives just by using the knowledge that I have. So we're going to push forward a couple years and I got a hot flash. And I was like, oh my gosh, I know what every woman now knows.
Mm.
And I was like, I am not dealing with this for 15 years, like the books, the medical textbooks say. So I found solutions and I was like, oh my gosh, the solutions are so easy. Why does every woman not know this? And what happens is, you mentioned the weight loss, the weight just falls off when you balance
Mm.
hormones. So now I'm helping women balance their hormones by creating the conditions for health within them so that our bodies just heal themselves.
Well, and it just gives you confidence and it makes you feel, not crazy. So I've trained my husband that he knows I'm 52 and fabulous. And I still, God's joke to me, since I have 7 kids and 9 grandchildren, that I could still birth another child. It's not in the books. It's not in it's not on my personal plan. So no funny jokes is what I keep telling God, because that's not funny. We have done our go forth and multiply fair share. But occasionally a room does seem hot to me, and my husband has been trained that whatever temperature I say it is, it absolutely is. Hot here, you? Absolutely, honey. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so hot. And my husband's trained answer for 26 years is, I know, baby. That's the reply.
I love it. So now he's prepared for this.
So when I go through whatever I go through, I've already decided it's going to be easy. I'm going to be fine. It's not going to be challenging for me. People say, "Oh, this happens and this hasn't." I've already claimed that. Oh, that's not going to be a challenge for me personally. That you can keep that challenge in your mind if that's what you want your mindset to be. I've decided with the power of my mind, I am going to overcome and have an easy transition, a joyful, exciting one. So where, it's okay if you occasionally have to stick your head in the freezer. That's a thing. That is a real thing.
Or you could just call me and I'll grab you some herbs, Jessica. And then you won't even have to
And what I love is you're medically trained, and and you also have a very holistic view and approach. And I think that that's so important, the balance between the two. Now, I want to hear a little bit about your ideal client, and then I'm going to go back and get Lee's. We're going to talk about her ideal client in 1 second. But I need to say that we are not giving you medical, legal, financial, professional. I'm the Italian mother of 7. I'm not your mama. Go talk to a doctor, your lawyer, your financial planner, whoever you need to talk to. These podcasts are for us to share our joy, our talent, our expertise, our experience, our clients' experience, our journey. Please reach out to Dr. Karah and Lee for more questions and get information, but also speak to any professional you need to, because that is not what we are here to do for you. We're here to share our experiences in this way, in the podcast form. So if you need to see a doctor, please call one. But tell us really quickly, who is kind of the ideal client that comes to you, where they are in their journey, what they're seeking to achieve. So if I'm listening right now, is it me? If it's me, I really need to meet with Dr. Karah.
If your energy is plummeting,
That's a good
hot
one.
flashes, your fat cells are migrating from the regular areas to the back of your arms, your butt, hips, and thighs. I absolutely love taking perimenopausal women. So that's about age 30 to 40. We start transitioning, our hormones start getting a little wacky. And creating health. That way they transition very efficiently and effectively. Because if we're healthy during this stage of our lives, our cardiovascular risk goes down. A real scary statistic is we lose 30% of our brain mass between the 5 years before we stop bleeding and the 5 years after. So I'm trying to mitigate that with them as well.
Yeah, that's not going to happen to me either. I'm going to claim that. I'm keeping my brain mass. It's growing all the time. I'm building new neural pathways. That's what I'm working on.
Jessica, 99.99% of our body is energy. 0.001 is actual mass. So you keep that mindset, girl, because that is going to be huge.
It is. I claim it. I'd say, whatever age or stage you are, if you're a woman, other women, have a conversation with Dr. Karah. I think this is a good way to go. Lee, give us some kind of picture of the ideal client that comes to you. Is there an industry you've worked with a lot, or a type of business that they've hit this mark and they're feeling frustrated, or they need this solution? When do they come to you, and who is that person?
That person for me is generally a B2B service provider, a consultant, a coach. They may have a small business with 1 to 10 employees, but generally we're talking about a situation where thought leadership marketing is going to be ideal. Now, most of my people have had a level of success and they've hit a ceiling. They kind of know that they've really got something good, but maybe the offers aren't quite right and they're not able to expand. They're just in this cycle of the inner circle.
They feel a little stuck, maybe.
Yeah, they're stuck. They're frustrated. They don't know why it's not working. They're typically throwing money at marketing. So, but really, if your marketing isn't working, that's your first red flag that it's usually not because you need to do more. You're doing something wrong. It's because you need to say less and you need to get crystal clear. Now, when I talk about a brand story, I'm talking about the story of your ideal client. Now, my story, my personal story, absolutely comes into that because I'm bringing my experience, my knowledge, which equals the wisdom. So what we want to do is glean that accumulated, earned wisdom and it's mostly women in midlife that are reinventing themselves. They're like, I'm not doing corporate. I'm done. And they've got all of this expertise that they have not been, their intuition is honed. They are brilliant and they know what the vision is, but they're not quite sure how to get there. So what I do is I don't tell them who to be. I show the world who they are. And so through my process, we start at a deep, intimate journey, really, for themselves. And I guide them and hold that space. So at the end of it, they get a brand story, a content library, a website with the copy that really lands. And then my photography background, I provide that visual brand expertise and can guide, any of the designers. They may have their own. I have some. So that's basically, I just want my people to have just powerful, clear messaging that makes sense.
And is the first step with you a discovery call?
It is. Okay. It is. And it's totally complimentary. We do a brand audit.
Okay.
I can go through and answer your questions about your messaging, your design, your website. We do a website audit.
Now, is everything you do one-on-one, or do you have any group programs or webinars, or is it all kind of just one-on-one with a client?
My work is deep and intimate. And the groups that I have are more on the post brand messaging, the roots, post that where we get into more marketing strategies. I'll do groups like, let's go into Canva, let's go figure out how to make your post, or we'll, do a landing page layout, different things like that. But when you have that brand story,
then that's your building block. Plug it in, yeah.
You stay inside the thing, the brand story. I had a lady one time. She works as a financial advisor for a boutique firm. It's not your big, Deloitte or anything, but it's a nice boutique. She's got some autonomy, and she wanted to reach women to help them with their investing. And I delivered her brand story. And I said, I'll see you in 2 weeks, and we'll go through and we'll make the changes. Well, we met again. And I said, okay, here we go. We got on Google Drive. She said, no, we're not changing a thing. It's just the first time that people really see themselves translated. It's just a beautiful thing. It was fun.
It's exciting, and it reminds me of when you take a personality test, or one of your loved ones takes a personality test, and it gives you I've had some really in-depth reports, like, 5 and 6 pages long. It goes really into it, and it's just like, it makes you giddy. You're like, "How does this person know me?" Or you read it and you're like, "Oh, that's so you, honey, because they got you figured out," and it's exciting like that. I was going to ask you the same thing, Dr. Karah. So when you're working with your community, do you have opportunities for just one-on-one, or is there some group or some online courses or some other programs and ways that you're facilitating how you're supporting these women in this journey?
Yeah. Well, kind of like Lee, I do the same thing. I do partial one-on-ones as well as group. I agree that some of the work that I do with my ladies is very intimate. And so
Yes.
I keep that behind closed doors. I also have this thing called HIPAA that I have to adhere to. So I
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
but there's something magical about a group setting
Yeah.
where all the ladies feel supported.
Hmm.
So in my program, what it is we learn as a group, we get support as the group, but then I modify it on an individual basis to meet
Sure.
that woman's needs. So
I love that. I love that. Okay. We've given you a lot of great tips already. It's a lot of information, but we're going to ask Lee to give us a tip. If we're starting out our journey, the best tip I can give you is get an appointment with both of these beautiful ladies and get an expert to help you. But if they were going to stumble through and take a look at their brand story, where would they start, or what's a good tip for a business owner thinking about approaching marketing from your perspective?
Okay. It's very simple. You can go to your own website and give yourself an audit.
Mm,
Okay. And here's what you want to look for. And I see it all the time. The homepage, the content on the homepage really belongs on the about page.
mm,
We tend to, and it's for various reasons. It's mostly because we just don't know that we're supposed to be
mm,
writing to the visitor, not talking about ourselves. Because honestly, when somebody first encounters your brand, they just don't care
mm,
about you. I mean, they do, but not yet.
mhm,
We want them to feel immediately that you get them.
mhm. They're at the right place. Yeah, they
They're at the
belong
right
there.
place, that the person they're looking at, go to your website. Okay, if somebody was going to land here, are they clear in the first, before they go down, before they scroll? Who
Mm,
is this? What are they selling? And what's my next step?
mm,
You got to answer that right now, because then they're going to be able to put themselves in that story, that problem, what you're saying, and that brand promise is on that header. That one thing that you're going to deliver, Dr. Karah delivers it, whether it's in her group or with a 35-year-old or a 55-year-old, that brand promise remains.
mhm,
That is what you put your head on the pillow at night and go to sleep easily, because you have delivered on that promise in every interaction. So I think that is a good place to start. The 3 questions also that you can get to your power positioning. Who are you and what do you stand for? That's your
mhm,
power positioning. But why should I care?
mm,
Why should I care? If I told you how I feel about some of my health stuff and we could relate to it, because Dr. Karah, I wanted to be an NTP, a nutrition therapist practitioner, and I couldn't choose. So I chose spiritual marketing. And I am I've got a lot of nutrition. But if I started talking about that in my brand world, you guys would be like, great, Lee, yeah, you got it. Yeah. But it has nothing to do with my brand story and how I'm going to solve that problem that's keeping you awake at night.
mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that's a good. So, I'd say if you could have a free call with Lee and get an audit, I'd have
Yeah.
a professional audit. But great tip is audit yourself and ask yourself those questions if you're not ready to make that next step for with Lee. So, Dr. Karah, same question for you. What's a tip of what they can do today based on their journey or their frustration, something specific you want to focus on and help them with?
Well, I'm thinking about my website. I'm like, where is my
Thinking about my website right now. I can't. I'll get back to you.
I was like,
It's all good.
step is, but maybe I need to have somebody look at it.
I'd love it. I'd love it.
I know someone who would do a free audit.
I
Don't
could
worry.
do that. Yeah.
That's who I was thinking of.
They'll hook you up.
I know a lady.
We'll connect you to this person we've got here with us in the room.
Oh, well, as far as health, the number one is we are exposed to 90,000 chemicals all the time.
Oh,
And the WHO has pretty much came out and said a third of our illnesses are as a direct result of these. So because it is a marathon, not a race, I always start women there. So that would be like my big thing is to start eliminating one chemical per week. And by the end of the year, you're going to feel completely different. Your body's going to be more energized. It's going to be clearing better. You're going to have better looking skin. You're going to have more confidence, more creativity because the brain fog is going to be lifted. So
Yeah, but before they can do that tip, they have to actually identify what chemicals they're in their environment that they're exposed to. So I think the first step is see if you can't identify what chemicals are around you or are in your environment. And then you have to find replacements for those things so that you can begin the process of one a week. I mean, that sounds like an entire workshop right there.
I do a workshop on it. And we talked about the 8 common chemicals that are found in the house and the ones that are have a high impact on women's health, specifically in mental health.
Oh, that's good to know.
That's really good.
Well, and I bet there are some that are more specific to different neurological challenge. I want to call everything an ability, not but all of the different things people are facing. I think probably specific to because what comes up is ADHD and autism and just other specific things. I bet different ones are affected by more profoundly. I'm just taking a guess, like a logical. My brain thinks, I have no idea if this is true, so go see a doctor, go talk to Dr. Karah, talk to someone who really knows, but not me. But that would just be logical to me that some things are more aggravated by certain things than others.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Some cause cancer, some cause endocrine disruption, some actually mimic estrogen. So your body thinks that it has this huge,
that's what
pump of
happens.
estrogen in it. It's like, no, that's fake estrogen that does nothing to the cells, but still adheres to the. So we got to get that out. That way your body knows how to make estrogen.
That's what happened to me, and I got.
Don't mention any name brands if we're going to share this.
No, but I was so perimenopause, and I got my monthly thing and it didn't stop. And they were going to give me a hysterectomy, but I talked to a naturopath and what she gave me stopped it in 12 hours after months. I was so anemic. And how much, are people becoming more aware of the chemicals in the household, do you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just heard about someone else doing a workshop similar to this one Dr. Karah's talking about.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. We need it.
The more awareness we can get out there, the better. Speaking of awareness, when we first started our show 9 years ago from show number 1, we always share a cause close to the hearts of our guests, because this is where you can get typing out there. I've seen several of you on live with us, and watching on some of the different platforms we're streaming on. And go ahead and start typing in the comments and share with us a cause that's close to your heart, because awareness is huge, and you just don't know who might need that cause. Someone might be inspired to give time, treasure, or talent to that cause. When you hit the share button, you push the causes out into the world. I just felt like if I was going to take the time to do something like this, that in the show, I always wanted to make sure we were taking the time to do something that was bigger than us. So, Lee, is there a cause that's close to your heart?
There really is. I am just a big supporter of Horses for Mental Health. It's an
Oh,
organization
yeah.
that raises awareness and funds for equine assisted mental wellness programs across the US.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as someone who has worked, I was marketing director for EGALA, which is a certification organization, nonprofit for equine assisted psychotherapy and personal development. And I have seen firsthand the accelerated,
Mm-hmm.
safe results for trauma recovery, for
Mm-hmm.
leadership development, for emotional resilience. And it's just incredible where, you know, survivors of trafficking have come through
Mm-hmm.
combat, trauma, PTSD. It's just incredible. And so that's who I support, is Horses for Mental Health. And we're actually have our May fundraiser, and I'm representing um, Unbridled Way Forward, which is a local program in North Carolina where I am. And you can go out to a herd meditation, or you can go see and have a therapy session with a licensed therapist, Amanda, and with the herd. It's
Right.
amazing. It's amazing. Goes way beyond talk
I
therapy.
think animal therapy is a very
Mm,
helpful of
it-
all kinds. Horses are beautiful animals, and they're very sensitive spiritual creatures, I think. But a lot of animals have this impact. I know, when my children were growing, I had one of my children in a counseling program that incorporated animals into it. And I know it's good for all ages, but children especially, I think, what a wonderful way to be able to approach something and not just focus on retelling the story and drilling down into that, but to be able to have the comforting of physical and emotional effects that, just petting a cat or a dog or any or a rabbit or whatever kind of animal, that calming, that coping, that
Yeah,
feeling of calm, that energy that spreads out, so, I was
that's
reading.
hormonal, isn't it?
Well,
It's
and
hormonal.
I was reading a book, and they talked about the ability to, how we have an effect not on one another directly. So if you were really upset, but if I were really calm, I can help regulate your nervous system down
Right.
to a better space, including your heart rate and everything. I can affect it. And us as a society have the same ability to do. They've done all kinds of studies on groups coming together with a focused, dedicated purpose, and they've actually had an effect on others outside of themselves. So, like I said, I'm not a doctor or a scientist. I just love reading all this stuff. So, I think that's very fascinating. Dr. Karah, you want to share a cause close to your heart?
Yeah. Of course, and you know what? It's all for the animals, y'all.
Ah,
Thank you
all
for
right. Well, I knew you guys were going to get along. I knew you guys were kindred.
No, we are great. This
We
is
are
great.
kindred hearts, Lee. I'm
Yeah.
so thrilled to have met you today. So I do everything for dogs. I live in Texas, in Austin, and we have one of the largest no-kill shelters out here. It's called Austin Pets Alive. And I volunteered there. I took in some foster puppies. I now have one that I don't know if anybody saw the white fluff walk behind me, but he's now a permanent resident. And I agree wholeheartedly, Lee. There is something special about animals that can literally change a person's frequency, mood, and outlook on life within seconds. And Joe Dispenza talks about it in his new book, The Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, how 99.99% of our bodies are actually energy, and there's less than 1% of mass. So it's like, well, you know what? Go hug that dog, go walk the dog, do everything. But we're in kind of a pickle because we get so hot over the summer. So it's almost detrimental for them to be outside. And then there's a road north of us. 400 dogs are dumped every single month. And so, yes, there's quite a few rescues that just literally sit there every single night and just grab the dogs as they're dumped. And so my whole mission is to make $1 million so that I can put together a mobile vet clinic that can go to all these ranchers and spay and neuter.
Yep.
I think it's at least 30 million. $1 million's not enough. You need at least
30.
We'll
all collaborate. We need at least 10 million each to make a big impact on this. I would love an animal sanctuary and the ability to, just get their world better. It's just,
It's so funny because I have so many children, and I have so when I met my husband, he had a lab, and I had a dog when I was a child, but it was a little bit of a traumatic situation because when we were away on a trip, and one of our friends was caring for the dog, some neighbor children were teasing it, and then it bit someone and was put down because of the regulations on the military base where we were living, but in that community. And so I just never really got close to pets. I think it was a protection mechanism, not because I'm an evil or mean person, I just, and also I'm a little fussy, they have to smell pretty. There's slobbering on me. There's hair everywhere. Okay. I just wasn't a people, but I love people who love pets. So we always had them. We've had dogs and hamsters and cats and birds and rabbits and lizards. And I have 7 children. We've had everything under the sun. Right. And I was very loving to them. I'm not cruel or anything. I just wasn't as involved as everyone else. And so finally we got to a point with our last child, who's 13. All of the pets had, gone to see pet heaven and be in a better pasture because they had a good life and they were done, and we all missed them. And it was, loving ceremonies and all the things. And I thought, okay, we're done with pets and in my world. And like a year ago, this stray cat came up to me on my porch and meowed at me, and I meowed back at it, and it meowed at me, and I meowed back at it. And so for a little while we fed it outside, and then I was like, okay, it's getting cold. We called the county. What can we do? And so the county they had a great program. So check out your programs in your community. And they took the cat and they got it up to health. They took care of any, fleas and ticks and all the things. And they checked it for all the stuff. And they, the spay and neuter thing, whatever it is that they do with a girl cat. And, I'm not a pet person, so don't make fun of me and don't write me mean notes. So then they brought the cat back and said, okay, well, it's all done. And they chipped her and everything. And would you like to adopt her? My husband said, of course. I said, yeah, we're adopting Meow Meow. And he said, no, Meow Meow adopted us. She chose us as a family. And I got really sick and had to sleep on the couch and had high fevers. And she would put her nose to my nose, this cat, and she wouldn't leave my side. And if I needed water or something, she would go find someone, start meowing at them, and they would come and check on me. And so this cat is my cat.
Adopted you.
You have a soulmate pet, this is the one that said, okay, I need to go find Jessica, because
that's right. That's
And
right. All
that's
the others, it didn't matter. This because that's how cats are. They find you. I've been
she
waiting for mine, but
she's
hadn't
so
showed up yet.
loving, and she'll sleep in my arms. She wants to be petted. She's, you would never know that this was a stray cat, because some cats are kind of, I've seen cats personalities, and don't write me if you're a cat person and say no, cats aren't that way. Some of them are like, have a bit of a tude, okay? They have an attitude,
Attitude.
attitude.
Yeah,
They have an attitude. It's a real
it
thing.
is. It is totally a real thing.
My
And they're
neighbor,
Not this one.
and
you
they're
know,
not
I have a
fluffy.
neighbor, and
They're not.
there's a cat, and
Yeah.
I can pet her once, and then I get swatted. Like no pet, no two pets, only one. So
Yeah.
attitude.
I mean, there's a cat. And this cat will let you love her and snuggle her and hold her, and she talks to us, and we just all my family has fallen in love with this cat, and she makes sure she evenly divides her time between me and my husband and my 13-year-old. So
So
some
sweet.
nights she'll go sleep with Karah, and then some nights she'll come sleep with us, and some nights she sleeps in the hallway in between and guards us, and I mean, she's just really funny. She's really funny and follows me everywhere. I had to actually close the door so I could keep her out. Otherwise, she'll walk on my keyboard during things. And I just light up, and I miss her when I'm gone. My husband's like, "Who are you? And where did my wife go?" I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what happened. Meow meow. Her name is Meow Meow, because that was our
Of
conversation.
course it is.
Uh, and she knows her name too. And you know what? She's very smart. She fetches. She brings us a hair tie,
She sounds
and
like a dog.
for like 20 minutes, she'd throw the hair tie, she brings it back. You throw the hair tie, she it does.
Plays
She's a
fetch.
very confused personality. She thinks she is a dog, I think. I don't know.
She is.
Anyway, I way went off the rails on our podcast about my cat. I apologize to all of you out there
It's
listening,
all
because
great.
now we are going to talk about books that inspired your personal life or helped you grow your business. So if you're out there watching, and I'm so glad you hung in there with our fun animal pet conversation, type in a book that maybe you wrote or that inspired your personal life or helped you grow your business, because that book could just inspire someone else. So Lee, a book that inspired your personal life or helped you grow your business?
Well, it's The Business of Expertise by David C. Baker. I just love that book, and it helped give me confidence to own my own authority as a brand strategist, my value. And it's really gold for anybody that is offering services, because it's built around your IP, your deep knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
His quote, "You can't read your own label when you're inside the jar."
Mm-hmm.
And that's how power positioning is. That's basically what
Mm-hmm.
he's talking about, as a differentiator. How do you differentiate yourself? And it's just hard to do it without an objective view, because I think everything I, want to put on my website is valid. Let's
Mm-hmm.
put it all.
Well, I have
Nobody's going to read it.
that's true. Um, I have to share that a couple of my favorite storyteller books, since you're into storytelling.
Yes,
So,
please.
Stories That Stick by Kendra Hall.
Okay.
And there's Storyteller's Secrets and 5-Star. 5-Star, you would think it's just about getting 5-star reviews, but it's a lot about the story. And I can't think of the author right now. It's the same author who wrote Talk Like TED.
Okay.
He helped people design TED Talks professionally, and got some of the highest numbers and all kinds of things with the people he supported from their talks. But Talk Like TED was great. Stories That
It sticks.
Storyteller's Secrets. He wrote Talk Like TED, Storyteller Secrets, and something called 5-Star. And I don't know if it's just an audiobook or they have a book too, but that's the newest one I think he wrote, or maybe he has another one. But that one, I thought it was going to be about how to get 5-star reviews and raving fans. It was a little bit about that, but it was a lot about story. Matter of fact, he talked about the engineers and the studies and the things I shared.
The tech guys. Yeah, if they can activate the right brain because they're so
Mhm.
left brain, then they can get a synapse and be excellent
Yeah,
storytellers.
so look up that
I
author and
will.
find his books. You'll love them. You'll eat them
Thank
up
you.
just like I did.
Thank you.
Um, I love that Kendra Hall uses really applicable stories, especially for the ones that story that sticks. They're good for your business owners because there's several kinds of business stories specific that need to be told. And she breaks down that process. She's really fascinating. And
Oh,
she's won some storytelling awards and she speaks at conferences all over the world. So you'll love her. And she does the book in her own voice. And I love that when they do that,
oh,
when
good.
you
Yeah,
get to, you feel like you get to know the author better
absolutely.
when you get to hear them. So, Dr. Karah, how about a book that inspired your personal life or helped you grow your business?
Hmm. You know, I'm recently in love with The Slightest Edge by Jeff Olson.
Mm,
He talks about how there is nothing different between us and millionaires except they
mm,
have mastered the mundane. So,
mm,
yeah, he talks about how these little things in your life become impactful changes. So his theory is small changes plus time equal big results. So I
mm,
started implementing a lot of his stuff, and I will tell you that it is powerful to the point where I hated to exercise. Let's be honest here. I don't like to sweat all that much. I live in Texas, it's 100 degrees. But what his suggestion is start little. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do 10 push-ups today. And I started with 10 push-ups. And the next thing you know, I'm doing 10 sit-ups. And the next thing, now I'm on the elliptical 12 minutes, 3 times a week. And I'm doing the strength training on the days that I'm not. And I am in wholehearted agreement that if you master the mundane, that your life becomes more purposeful and driven.
I love that.
I
Say the name of the book again.
The Slight Edge. And
The
the author's name is Jeff Olson.
Very good, very good. The ones I'm reading right now and have been focusing on this topic is The Power of the Subconscious Mind. And then one of the other ones that I'm actually going through with my accountability partner right now is called How to Predict the Future by Creating It Yourself. It's Chad Chesmark, I think. And what I like about him is he incorporates self-hypnosis and some and affirmations and some other things, but he gives a very step-by-step process of exactly what to do and how to do it and his backstory. And it's really fascinating. And then for the advanced in that space of manifesting and abundance, this is not for the faint of heart or beginners, but Quantum NLP by Christine Turner is deep and profound. And it's one of those books I will listen to many more times in my lifetime. Because did you hear that? Because it has, that was thunder. So if we lose you live, people, you'll know why.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. But it's really something to be said. So, Lee, really quickly, I know you haven't written a book, but do you want to share maybe some of the steps you take helping someone with your brand story? I know you've done a lot of brand story writing for people. Do you want to share something on that? And I'm going to have Dr. Karah share a little bit about some of her programs because she hasn't yet written a book, but I feel like a book is bubbling inside of her. So go ahead, Lee. Give us a little bit of
Well, I have been tasked with my book at some point this year, but we'll see. I
All
know
right.
I have a book in me, but it's I've kind of been playing with the idea. But what I do want to talk about then to share is thinking about a tree.
I love trees.
Branding and marketing. Okay. It's very broad. It's like, I'm not even going to do it. It's too much. Right. And so if you think of a tree and you have the roots, that's your brand messaging, who you are, what your power positioning, your ideal client research, your revenue goals. And is it a viable business model? Those are the roots. You don't do your website or your logo yet. And you certainly don't do any marketing, and that's in the branches and leaves. Your trunk is your visual brand, the logos, colors, fonts, your website. See, your website, when you turn your website on, it is a magic. We'd love for everybody to just know Lee turned her website on. We got to go see what she's got. That's where marketing comes in. That's where invitation come, like Jessica so brilliantly does across the board with all of your invitations to speaker things, to podcast, you invite to your groups. That's all marketing is, but that's way up in those branches and leaves. So once you do the roots, you want to build that strong tree. You don't want a willow tree, you want a live oak, right? And now you can expand, scale, grow because you've done that strategy piece.
I love that. That's awesome. Thank you for that. Dr. Kruse, do you want to talk about some of your programs or some of the things you're building?
Lots of exciting things. And Lee, thank you for making me feel bad about building my tree before I built my website. And you want a live oak, except in like March, late March, right? All my Southern friends that are listening right now, they know what I'm talking about. You Northerners, come down south in March and we'll teach you all about the live oaks. Yeah, well, there's a lot happening. So I work with women on a year-long basis, and we go through all of the different parameters of health. We get the toxins out. We're sleeping better. Our stress management tools are perfect. Things like that. But I also am starting a community next month because I think, there's power in community.
Oh, yes, there is.
And I know for myself, when I was going through so many of my struggles, like when I couldn't conceive and I started bleeding and realized that I wasn't pregnant, and I was crying in my bathroom, I wish I had that community. And so I'm going to create a community so women have that. And then also I'm doing a lot of classes over the next couple of months. I'm doing some ones on chemicals and then a couple on perimenopause, because
can they find the dates and times on your website for these classes?
They sure can.
Okay. You want to tell us what your website is?
drkarah.com.
How about you, Lee Aldridge? What's your website address?
soulstorycreative.com. And I've got a master class coming up as well. So if you get on my list, all you have to do is just get on the list, no big spamming, and then you'll get those notices. And I'm going to teach you how to develop your thought leadership content.
Give it to us one more time. Soul,
SOUL, story, creative.
soulstorycreative.com. And Dr. Karah, give us yours one more time.
So it's Dr. Karah, DrKarah.com.
All right. Well, ladies, it has been such a joy having you on the show today. I hope you've had as much fun as I have. I think this has been great and great synergy between the two of you as well.
Yes, it's been fun.
It was so much fun. I have so much fun for meeting you, Lee, and having another conversation with you, Jessica. I always enjoy our interaction.
I know. I always love hanging out with you. When I saw you on my calendar today, I was like, oh, yay. So if you're thinking, wait, I'm an industry expert, I'm an author, I'm a coach, I could help someone build their business or have the best version of their life ever, and you think maybe you should be on the show, well, reach out to us and our team, and we'll tell you just how to get yourself scheduled, and we could be featuring you. Now, before we close out for the day, I would love, Lee, for us to share one final thought, a piece of information or inspiration as we go.
Well, let's see. I think we're in changing times, and a lot of reinvention of ourselves is happening. And it's normal. It's just where we are on the planet at this time. And if you're having any kind of rumble, let's just talk and let's get clarity around that, because that's what's going to move you forward.
That's right. Have a conversation and get some clarity. That's a good offer right there. How
There
about
you
you, Dr. Kara? Give us some information or inspiration as we go.
Ooh, you be you.
Mm,
You be you, because if we had duplications of all of us in the world would be really boring.
mhm,
Love the fact that when people bring who they truly are to a conversation, it invigorates the conversation. So,
mhm,
and I had to remind one of my patients today who was affected by somebody that was judging them, and I'm like, but remember that judgment is actually a reflection of what's going on inside their subconscious. So just let
mhm,
it go. Let it go. Hear it, see it,
mhm.
validate them, and let it go. You be you.
I love that. And that's so relevant for what you do for people too, because if intuitively we are genuine to ourselves, often our bodies will tell us things that we don't necessarily know based by science. For example, my daughter would never eat beans, and we just stopped forcing her. We're like, okay, you're not going to eat the beans. We'll give you some other something. And when I did finally take her for extensive allergy testing, we found out she had a severe allergy to legumes. And so she just naturally, her body said, I don't like those. I don't want to eat those. And so I think that often happens. You all will know something is wrong. And if you do go and see someone and they're giving you the answer that you don't feel is quite right, go talk to someone else and someone else and someone else, because you're your best advocate. You must be true to you, like she's saying, in all senses of the word. Only you are going to fight for you. Only you know if there's something just not quite right. And remember, if you have something going on with you physically or emotionally, sometimes that is a symptom. That is just a symptom, not the core source. Be focused on finding what the core source of it is, whether it's finding your joy or finding your healthiest you, and get all of the professional support that you possibly can. There's so much out there, and have a chat with Dr. Kara, and, have your business get its health checkup too, and your brand, and get that discovery call with Lee. Thank you so much again, ladies, for being on the
Thank
show
you.
today.
So much fun.
I know. Can we do this again? It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be, it doesn't have to be live, but just maybe on a Friday night, the three of us get
We
together.
absolutely
Yeah.
can. As always, everyone, I'm your host, Jessica Koch. This has been another Profound Professionals. And until next time, please be kind to yourself and be kind to each other.